Okay, this week's video is going to be on a verse that really troubles me a lot when I think about it. And the verse is actually 2 Peter 3, 8, and kind of sort of part of 9. So I'm going to read that verse to you guys so you can understand what I am getting ready to explain. So it says, verse 8, "But beloved, do not forget this one thing, that with the Lord 1 day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are as a day. The Lord is not slow concerning his promise, as some understand slowness, but is long-suffering towards us." The rest of the verse is irrelevant, but one of the things I hear a lot of young people say my age, God has these promises for me, but why are things not changing? Why is my life still the same? Obviously, God doesn't care about me is what I hear people saying. Obviously, his promises don't matter. Well, that's obviously not true, because I don't agree with that, and most people, especially Christians, don't agree with that either. So what I'm going to explain from this verse particularly is what God is trying to say, what God is saying from this verse. So let's read it again, but I'm going to read the verse slowly, and I'm going to break down this verse. That way you can understand what it is that I'm trying to explain to you. So, first of all, verse 8 says, "But beloved, do not forget this one thing, that with the Lord, 1 day is like 1,000 years." Now let's stop there. To the Lord, 1 day is like 1,000 years. Remember that in heaven, there's no time. In space, there's no time. Unlike in this world that we live in right now, we have time, we have clocks, we're always trying to rush places, we're always trying to do things, and I gotta get here, I gotta get there. But in heaven, heaven is timeless. So, with that being said, that's something that we need to know. Number one, God is outside of time. God doesn't have a watch that he's waiting to get his activities done. He's not like, oh, I'm gonna, help this guy over here, and I'm gonna rescue this person from sickness, and I'm gonna help the Lakers win the next basketball game. I don't know much about basketball, so I'm gonna stop there. The point I'm trying to make is God doesn't care about time. He just doesn't. So, continuing to read on, "And 1,000 years are as 1 day. So it says, "Do not forget this one thing. To the Lord, 1 day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are as 1 day." So he's outside of time. Now let's continue. "The Lord is not slack." I'm reading the New King James Version, but if we convert it into modern English, it says slow. So the Lord is not slow concerning his promise, as some understand slowness, but is long-suffering towards us. And what that means is, let's say, for example, you have a dream. I'll use myself. One of the things that I really wanted to do is, growing up, I wanted to work on cars, and I love cars. I love fixing cars. I love helping friends fix their cars and blah, blah, blah. I love cars. And I wanted to be a mechanic. I wanted to be a master technician. That's what I wanted to do. And many times I would think to myself, why is it that this is not happening? Why is it that I continue to do all these things, but nothing's happening? Well, let's read this verse here. If some of you are waiting, which I believe most of you are, on God's promises, whether it be a career, a spouse, a job opportunity that you've been applying for many years and nothing's come out of it, pay attention to this verse. "The Lord is not slow concerning his promises, as some understand slowness." Now, what I'm going to say is this. In verse 9, when it says, "The Lord is not slow in concerning his promise, as some understand slowness," let's break that down. The Lord is not slow in keeping his promise. So you might think to yourself, how do you equate slow to the Lord when he's outside of time? Well, when you read as some understand slowness, the some is us. Some, you and me. We understand slow to be 10 years for me. I'm not going to have my career, I'm thinking in my head as an example, for 10 years. That's a long time. So if you think about it that way, what he's trying to say is, as I understand 10 years to be slow, the Lord is going to make that dream become a reality a heck of a lot faster than 10 years. I can tell you that. So that's what that means. And it's a big deal. I really like explaining this verse. I love it. And your dream might happen tomorrow. Your dream might happen next year. It might happen in 5 years. But I can promise you this. However long to you is slow, is faster than what God is going to do as far as provision comes along. So remember that as you read this verse and as you ask for favor from the Lord, He wants your promises more than you do. So that's it. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.